Liftoff of mission 41D, first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Hey guys, welcome to our latest episode of Health or High Water. I'm Trip Parks with my co-host.
Hello.
Hey guys, it's been a long week. We're sorry we didn't get to you guys yesterday. This Sin performance training thing is going a little bit nuts in a good way.
A very good way.
And we kind of got a little sidetracked yesterday, but we're happy to come back with you today with an exciting episode on elite level athletics.
Elite.
That was actually a soundboard that we made. But Brett and I both played in elite level sports, especially in our adult lives. Have this experience. I'm sure some of you listeners are curious about what's goes in the background of people playing at that level, what it takes. Maybe some of you are trying to get into it yourselves. But we want to kind of a little deep dive. Let's start with you, man, with baseball. You had said in previous episodes, especially if you guys go to the first episode, we deep dove into Brett's past. If you guys want to go take a back look on that, but you played baseball your whole life. You played at a high level in college, right?
Mm-hmm. In college, yeah. Played for NAIA, National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. Essentially like D2 or D3 style, but yeah, it was college ball. Mm-hmm.
Still a lot of pressure involved with that, right? Especially you're going to class and stuff too.
Oh yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, I had to miss class for games and stuff like that. Yeah.
So what was like a typical day of your life as a student athlete?
Going to class, and then occasionally, after it was always practice after classes were done, and then occasionally we'd have to leave class for games. So I'd have to leave class early if we had a game that day. So it was just kind of like, it was either school or baseball constantly.
So would you have to make up those classes?
Because I had some professors that were upset with me. They were like, literally would discourage you from doing college athletics. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, they would punish you for leaving class.
Well, how did that make you feel as a student athlete? Like that had to be hard.
Yeah,
you're trying to do both.
It was crazy. Looking back on it now, I can't believe that they did that. But they always, some of these professors always held in esteem classes over athletics.
Well, that's interesting because I didn't play college sports.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was just a student.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting you would think that the staff would be happy about it. Like, hey, you go kick some ass out there.
Yeah, you would think, but no, most of them no, not really.
Dang, man, I'm sorry to hear that. They should have been more supportive, and we'll write complaints to the college.
Boo-hoo.
So did you get along with your teammates? How was that?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was a wild group of people from all over, but we got along well. Yeah.
How was it dynamic? Your classmates, were they teammates, or you guys hang out like after class or anything?
Yeah, for sure. We partied together. Yeah, we had a party house.
You had a baseball house?
We had a party house. Yeah, there were 4 of them that lived together, and then we would party over at my buddy Brandon's house, I believe it was. He would throw the best parties ever.
Shout out. So what about how was power practices? Were they grueling? Like, how long were they? What'd you guys do?
No, so college practices were really easy. Our coach was really bad, so he would have his son come to practice, who was like 9 or 10, and he'd be hitting his son ground balls in the infield while we were practicing separately. Yeah.
What?
And it's not like they were like working on stuff. He was just like casually hitting his son ground balls, and his son wasn't like getting better. So my coach was really bad. College practices were really disorganized. Our practices were very disorganized. And so, there was a lot of the team that was unhappy at the school I was at. A lot of them quit. Some of them got kicked off the team. So it was an interesting experience.
Well, did you have to keep your GPA up at all to play, or how was that?
No, not really. There wasn't nothing that I was aware of. No. In high school we did.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I think it was a 2.6 in high school or something like that.
I remember in high school going to I had to get no D's, or I forget what the rule was, but it was no D's, and I remember going to one of my teachers, and I knew if I got a D, I wasn't able to wrestle, and he knew that too. and I was like, I'll do extra homework after class, please, please, please. And if he didn't sign the permission slip or whatever, and so I can't remember the teacher's name, but he gave me a C so I could wrestle that day.
Shout out to whoever that was.
Yeah.
This is gonna be an episode full of shout outs, guys. Just forewarning.
Yeah.
Well, so I know that again the practices weren't grueling or too much pressure, but did you feel pressure as from like your parental side that you guys that you were doing this to succeed
during what, college?
Yeah, during college athletics. Because I know your dad was pretty hard on you about training and playing through adolescence.
Yeah, by college it was. That was kind of the ship had sailed. Like it was that the pressure was over. I felt no pressure in college, like none.
Did that help you enjoy the game any better then, or?
Yeah, I enjoyed. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
What was your guys' record?
Our college record, we were like 500. We were a little better than 500. Yeah. So yeah, we were all right, but we weren't setting any records. But then again, we had a lot of. By the time we went to college, we had a lot of issues with, like I said, coaching. The coaching was really, really bad. Players had quit. Like, we had a good squad, but it just all fell apart.
Well, did you guys have like a diet plan you guys were on, or
no?
It's just free for all.
None. Free for all.
Really?
Yeah. No, not a single talk about diet. No.
Dang, man, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me if I'm not right on this at all, but do you guys have playbook schemes at all for baseball?
By the time we went to college, there really wasn't. I mean, we had a general outline. I think we had a few like certain plays, but honestly, not really. No, we were riding on people's talents. I have had way better coaching and systemization on my earlier days in baseball. I mean, light years ahead of what we were doing in college. Yeah.
Well, interesting, man. That's
very interesting, right?
Well, yeah, it's just it's very different from what I experienced. You know, like topsy-turvy.
Yeah. What did you experience? Tell me.
So, to give you guys a quick backstory, I was trying to sell this genetic test back in the day, and I went to one arena football tryout and didn't make it. But that's when I realized I ran a 4.7, and I was like, well, maybe there's something there. I went to go try out for the RPFL, and then I made it. Got drafted in Detroit in 2018, and then went to go play my season down in Atlanta. Played at Silverback Stadium for the Peachtree Heat that turned into the Cobb County Kings eventually.
Mm-hmm.
We got merged together.
So you were living somewhere, and then once you tried out, and then they sent you a letter. I'm assuming I called you, and they're like, "Hey, you made the team." You had to move. They asked you to move at that point.
Yeah, so they offered group housing, but I'd done some research on the league and their housing in the past, and other people that have played, and that wasn't the right choice. And luckily, Dad was retired at the time, so he's like, "I'm gonna come down with you. We'll just eat, sleep, and train. That's it." And that's what we did.
Your dad came down with you.
Yeah, he was like a little coach. He was so proud, man. Like,
wow.
He was like, dude, like my son's playing pro football. Like,
yeah. Were you trying to get into the NFL? Did you have any delusion of that at that point?
A little bit, man. Like I've always wanted to, but I never studied a playbook.
And you hadn't been this was your first time playing football ever, right?
Ever. I never even put on pads.
Do you realize how crazy that is? Like, most people are playing are drilling the skills. That's insane.
Well, we were sitting there. We would, when we did practice, we would do practice, and then we'd have breakaway, and we would do learn playbooks, schemes, and how we're gonna do things. And man, my hand was raised every single time. The coach talks what parks? Well, what does that mean?
What do the X's mean? Well, who are the O's?
What's a route? I had to have one of my shout out to Kenny. Kenny, my teammate there, he taught me how to put the pads on.
Oh my God!
I didn't know how to do the jersey when I put it on over the pads. He's like, "No, you put the jersey on with the pads and then them on." It was a mess.
We started, I want to say, third grade in tackle football.
Third grade?
I played tackle football in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, all the way up into my sophomore year. So we went through I remember back all the plays, the schemes, the routes, playing quarterback, linebacker, going through all, like, there was so much to learn.
You played quarterback?
Yes, I was a quarterback, and then I was a linebacker. I mean, this was when you're younger, when there wasn't so much positionality, right? Like, so I tried a lot of different positions.
What was your favorite?
I like to hit people, but I just was not big enough. I was way too small to, like, especially when, like, in 8th grade, I remember when they did the weigh-in sheets. Like, so the league had and this was a big deal. So the entire league had all the heights and weights of players. So you could go to the team you're playing and look at all the heights and weights. And I want to say I was 5. This was in like 7th or 8th grade. I was like 5'5" or something. 140 pounds, 130, whatever. And there were kids that were 6'3", 195, 6'3", 210. Like and this was in 8th grade. And I'm like, and I remember the first time getting hit by one of these guys, and I knew it. I was like, I am going to get crushed.
I'm dead. I mean, I felt the same way. I was one of the smallest guys on the team.
Yeah.
I have never been in a situation where I walk down the field and I'm looking up at everyone.
Everybody.
I have never been. Again, I'm not the tallest person in the world.
How tall are you right now?
5'11", 6 foot on a good day.
Are you 6 foot? I don't believe
6
that.
foot on a good day.
Who are you trying to? Who are you trying?
On a good day.
Who are you trying to impress on the podcast?
No, five. All the spirits above the church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking up at everyone. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, my first play, my first play ever as a pro, I got a penalty for blindside hitting someone and didn't know what that meant.
Oh yeah, you showed me in the video.
I remember all my teammates were like, "Who the fuck was that?" And I raised my hand like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's your first time."
Oh, you're fine. You'll be fine.
You'll learn.
Sorry if there are kids listening to this. I don't think there are.
No, probably not. And even if they are, if they want to do this, they're gonna be around that.
Yeah.
I remember our halftime, like we're trying to do like mid-game schemes and stuff like that, and all the linemen are taking dumps in the stall, like opening the door to make sure they don't miss anything. And I was like, "Well, this locker room is
Oh God.
raw."
What?
Oh yeah, dude, it was. I've never seen that kind of filth before. Except in
So
college.
we promised you we were going to bring you great content, and here it is.
Here it is. Thank you guys for listening. No, but it was cool. My dad helped me a lot with nutrition and learning the schemes. We got like flashcards, we got magnets, and it was a really interesting experience just because of all the pressures on it. The first 3 days for training camp, if you didn't do everything that was on like the list of things they had, they would kick you out. Doesn't matter if you're first round pick, second round pick. Like I saw them picking up people and just sending them home. Mm-hmm. So like that pressure got to me kind of hard. Like after the first day, I was like, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And Dad's like, we didn't travel here for nothing. And I was like, I'll power through. That's why I was so glad he was here. Like I probably would have quit. I've never been through anything that intense in my entire life. But it was worth it. I learned a lot about what it takes to do that. I mean, the guy I used to play against for slot, he was playing corner. He was on the Lions the year before, playing DB, and that was intense, man. Never playing and like trying to get coverage and someone who played in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So just a definitely interesting experience. Like everybody out there that wants to do this, like it's a full-time job. Like from sun up to sundown, you're either studying or you're on the field. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it was kind of like you for summer for baseball and whatnot. You probably always, when you guys weren't in school, you're probably playing something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember summers as a kid. Like it was baseball every weekend, and it was practicing at night, and then every single weekend was baseball traveling tournaments. So we were in a hotel room every single weekend for 5 years.
So can you maybe talk about the fatigue you got from doing all that?
I mean, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, we were playing in the pools and running around. The parents were partying, having a great time. Like we were jumping in the hot tub. We were like causing havoc in the hotels. So it was such a good time. So really, there was no fatigue. It was, that's how kids should live: is competing and having fun too.
Do you, if you had kids, would you put them through that same kind of thing? Yeah,
I mean, I would approach it, differently, obviously, having learned what I've learned. But yeah, for sure. Competition is incredibly healthy for kids. When it's done right, especially.
Absolutely. That's something I missed as a kid. I didn't really play too many sports or kind of stuff like that. Yeah, so there's I always think of it as a polarization. So there's the dad that's like, hey, it doesn't matter how you play the game. Like, you did a great job, right? And then there's my dad on the opposite side. Like,
winning is everything. Like you need to, like, everything was nitpicked, like, and there's good stuff too, like what an amazing play, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a balance between that. But honestly, I look back on it, I'm glad that my dad was hard on me. I wouldn't want to be a kid that just played it and went, like, what I learned from it was the obsessive compulsion of discipline and of wanting to win and feeling the need to win and being great at something. I love that. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad I went through stuff like that.
I heard something today that's I might be butchering this, but it says discipline is self-love in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Right, and so it is kind of interesting you said it because I had the opposite experience. So my parents were like, whatever, just if you want to play, play. If not, that put pressure on me to like want to do well though. It was like the opposite, I guess, and it also depends on personality type, epigenetics, but it made me like that's what drove me to want to play football that time. Like my parents wouldn't let me play because get hurt, whatnot, and then next thing you know, you're playing in a small professional league.
How many teams were in your league?
There were three divisions and 4 teams per division, and they all played at different times.
Okay.
So
different times.
So different times of the season. So Atlanta was 4 teams in that division, and and then we played 5 times.
Yeah.
But again, the cool part about that league was you could go if you wanted to do another season, you could travel to one of the other locations and they'll draft and they'll put you on a team.
Wow.
So it was kind of at that point it's kind of cool, but you are spending a lot of your own money.
Yeah,
right?
Eating and you're living there. How much were they paying you guys?
Well, my contract was for $500,000, and I got paid 0.
You gotta explain that. How's that work?
So the contract was for a 4-year contract for $500,000.
Okay.
But it was all incentive based.
Okay.
And the way that this league works too is like if you're balling out, like they send tapes out and they get a commission based off of sending you to a team like an arena league, CFL, NFL, and they want you to leave. That's kind of the whole point of this developmental league, because if you're balling out, they don't have to pay you. But that's what the contract was signed up is like, hey, this is $500,000 for 4 years. You only get it if you meet A, B, C, D criteria.
Give me an idea of what A, B, C, D is.
So if you're playing on offense, if you were a wide receiver, if you got 100 plus yards, you get paid this standard. If you got a touchdown, you get paid this. So like there's like minimums. Like if you're not getting a touchdown or 100 yards, you're not getting paid. If you're not a running back and not getting 75 to 100 yards a game, this is what you're getting paid.
Well, so you weren't a running back. You were a corner?
I was drafted as a running back.
You were drafted as a running back.
Yeah, I was drafted.
So if you weren't playing running back and you got paid off of your touchdowns?
Well, it depends on per position. Each position contract was different. So I just when they decided to not use me as running back, I had to sign a different contract for the it was like a specialty one. It was like because I played special teams, I played gunner, or I played safety, and I played slot receiver.
How do those people get paid? Like what type of statistics? Give me like a ballpark.
Defense would be
10
like
tackles a game. You get like $100,000.
Yeah, it was like, hey, like if you get 10 tackles a game, 1 interception, it's like $3,000.
Okay.
Something like that. For defensive line, they get paid more off sacks, and the defense was structured a little different. Like because a cornerback could make a sack, a safety could make a sack, so they were all kind of contingent like that.
Mm-hmm. And you made 0.
I made $0.
You're just not making any tackles.
Well, not really. We had such a strong defense that I really didn't get to play second or third string, so I was pretty much playing slot receiver, and then pretty much just blocking on run plays. I was never really targeted as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But I really shined on special teams. That was my favorite.
Did they pay you for special teams?
Not really. I mean, if you made like a touchdown or something like that, you might get paid some potatoes.
Dang.
But yeah, it was. I mean, it was what it is. If you wanted to make it, it's a place that you sharpen your tools, learn from other people. But I think a lot of people go into that and expecting a lot more from this league. Like, well, this league sucks. It's like, well, what did you expect? It's not the NFL.
How many games were in the season?
4 regular season games and then 1 championship game.
So they would have you move for 4 games a year?
Well, the 4 games were in one area. So it'd be Atlanta. All the 4 teams would play whatever times, and then whoever has the best record plays in the championship. And then let's say that season, my season was October to November.
Okay.
And then Florida's was January to February. So they were spaced out a little different.
So kind of the expectation was players come into the housing, play, and then, if they don't make it or something, they go back to where they're from, or they're. I mean, you got players that have full-time jobs, right? I'm assuming most of them.
Yeah, almost every single one. But yeah, like the whole assumption of the developmental league was get you trained up, get you some game time, get you some footage, so you can send out. Or if they thought you're good enough, they'll send you out yourself and then make a commission. But they don't want you to stay there long. It's burn and churn kind of.
Yeah, it's either like you make it or you don't, get out of here, or you're moving on. Yeah, baseball is minor league's different. I had a lot of friends who went into the minors, and I had some friends that went pro too. And it's like they really hate the single A and the double A they get a tough end of the stick because they're playing a lot of games. They're playing I don't know how many, 80 games.
It's like their season never stops.
Yeah,
right?
it literally never stops, and they're making I want to say they're paid $1,700 a month or $2,400 a month. So it's below minimum wage, and their whole goal is to try to make it to the next level. So it's very hard. I had a lot of friends that were very talented. One of my friends, Scott Matus, is still the Big Ten leader in saves for Minnesota. Still holds the record for saves. I played with him growing up, and he got drafted by the Yankees twice and the Brewers once. I think he played some farm ball, but then just minors eats them up. It's hard. So
it's grueling, man. It doesn't matter what level. It's just grueling, and to have that extra pressure of you're almost there, but you're not quite.
Yeah, he was the one person I thought would make it and be up. He could have if he wanted to. This guy was 6'2", 6'3", about 210. Perfect body type, threw about 92, 93.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he was, and 90. That was an easy 92, 93. Just had a wicked curveball. I mean, I've seen him throw games where he would strike out, 12 out of 12 batters. He just come in and mow people down. But then again, it's a grind to get to the majors. You got to love it, and I think he lost the passion for it.
Yep, that happens. I mean, after that one season, I was done. I was like, all right, I did it. I can say I did it, and I left without any injuries. Like, and you know how it is playing. Like, you never play at 100% when you're playing all year round.
Yeah, I mean, football is different than baseball, but yeah, you get what you're saying.
But yeah, guys, as we kind of wrap this up, and I know it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but we've had a long week. This is in a good way. Any last things you wrapped up before I say the last go look here stuff, or whatnot? To wrap up our conversation?
No, not that I can think of.
Well, if you guys are interested in athletics, getting to those kind of levels, make sure that you're taking the time and discipline to do so, because you don't have to learn that when you're an adult, what it really takes, because people already be past you. Make sure you guys are subscribing, and sharing, telling everybody about this, please. Every little bit helps. Make sure you go to check out Brett's blogs on ascendperformancetraining.com/blogs for more information about what we're doing here, about getting healthy, hiking, breathing, exercise, a little bit of everything. He's writing some great stuff. Make sure you're checking out Kalavala Labs on that website as well. It's on the bottom part of the page. We have some amazing supplements that are FDA compliant, as well as make sure that if you guys are interested in any genetic testing, shoot us a DM on social media, or you can go to ascendperformancetraining.com and fill out a form there. We're doing some really amazing things with these genetics, and I think we are exploding with programming with that. So make sure you guys are checking that stuff out. Thank you guys so much for listening to Health or High Water.